Hello there.
Hello. So, to take this intro from the top again, hello
We're
once
live.
again. Yep. Oh yeah, I had the pre-roll going for a while. But yeah, hello. We are back here today to play some more Gray Matter. It's going to be Chapter 5. I'm with my friend Hazel.
Hello, everyone. Again.
Yep. And I guess before we start, do you want to try to summarize the plot so far, chapter by chapter?
Oh, chapter by chapter would be a particular challenge. So, let's see. Chapter 1, homeless, recovering goth girl stumbles upon spooky science mansion and sees the intended assistant, presumably sent by the university, get scared off at the doorstep because it's a spooky science mansion. And that causes the protagonist to decide on the spot to impersonate her and steal her job.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else has just been dominoes falling from that point, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
In chapter 1, there was it chapter 1 where it's collecting the freshmen?
Yes.
Okay, you're supposed, as in your first task as assistant to Dr. Phantom, you, with very little incentive to do so, you have been offered as many delicious eggs you can eat, and as far as we could tell, one-time payment of £50.
Yep.
And this sent us on a quest to go to the local university and trick students into being the subjects of science community renounced brain experiments. And even though they're referred to as freshmen, some of them are graduates, apparently. That was the majority of chapter 1. Chapter 2 starts with the fact that, like, everyone's freaking out because, like, seemingly paranormal stuff happened at the same time as the experiments. Also, we learn that the protagonist this entire time has been trying to join the Magician's Illuminati.
Yep.
And is just looking for an excuse, or like looking for something sufficiently. Apparently they
Grandiose.
love pranks, and if you do a big enough prank, they will let you into the Magician's Illuminati. And they also hid an ARG around London, which you're like the only person who's ever done, I guess.
Well, probably not the
Because all
only
the-
one, but like, yeah, attendance seems low.
Oh, at least you're the only one to have done this particular ARG, because it involves like a lot of non-repeatable steps and hidden
True.
objects, unless someone's following you around and replacing all of them.
Yeah,
Did anything else happen in chapter 2?
not really. No, chapter 2 is kind of just like gathering info.
Right, and then chapter 3, if I recall correctly, is when you start. More spooky stuff happens, and it was 4 that's the doctor's chapter, wasn't it?
That was
Or 3? Oh, 3 is the one where it shifts perspective to the doctor.
Yep.
And you spend the entire chapter going around the house, reminiscing about your dead wife and the one date you went on her with, and like smelling her underwear and stuff.
Hey, now it's a
And
bathing
then-
suit.
Fair. And
And then you
smelling
get
her
drunk on
bathing
3
suit,
bottles of
excuse me.
wine and hop in sensory deprivation tank.
Yep, then you get drunk and turn on some music and hop in the sensory deprivation tank for some alone time with your dead wife's bathing suit. And over the course of this, your brain levels up many times, and you gain the ability to remember things better. And also maybe talk to a ghost,
Possibly.
which sends you the incredibly lame message of "I'm."
Yep.
Which, if I was playing with a Ouija board and all I got was I'd be kind of disappointed, personally. But
I
he
would
seems
check
satisfied with that.
my instant messenger, but yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, maybe his dead wife was telling her to IM her because,
Yeah.
like, that incredibly cumbersome
Yeah.
Rolodex system was not actually a good way to communicate with the dead, and she was just like, just let me type on the computer.
Yeah.
Close your damn wine tasting app for 5 seconds.
Yep.
Oh, and then you actually go and get a photo of the two of you and then increase the contrast until the JPEG compression looks like a spooky shape.
Yep.
And he goes, aha, ghosts are real. Science proves it.
Mm-hmm. And then calls the police.
Yes. And then they're like, oh, forgot to tell you, it was probably foul play your wife died in. Bye.
Yep. And that's just all chapter 3. It's just you get
Say
drunk,
again.
you have some alone time, you call the police, and then back to Sam.
Oh yes, back to Sam for chapter 4, which is the last one we've played so far.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what happened in chapter 4?
A lot of breaking mentoring happened in chapter 4.
Oh right, was chapter 4 the one where you like go to the guy's office and like pretend to?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Is that the one where you would like pretend your like thumb is cut off and she's like, oh, go get the first aid kit, and then you hide the first aid kit and never give it back to her?
I think so.
And you like bug someone's phone. Basically, the overarching theme is that you found out one particular guy at the university doesn't like Dr. Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
So he must be evil and has probably murdered his wife.
Yep.
And you just make this inference with like zero connective tissue.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then from there, break into every student's room.
yes. Including the one that you were already being kind of flirty with, and you like comment on her underwear on the floor, and she's like, now that you're in here, and and wait, we never found out what that locked box under her bed had. I mean, we knew what it had, but like we never found out in the game. And also stole her room key.
Yep.
And
again, the protagonist of this game is a monster. Like...
yeah. And I think that might have been largely it. You just kind of you appoint yourself detective of everything.
Yep.
And also agent of chaos at the same time. We're down on his luck cop that doesn't play by the rules.
Yep. And now we're back in.
And so that's the story so far.
Yep. And now we're back to Dr. Phantom here, who we're calling that because, I mean, well, you'll see in a couple seconds. He's got this Phantom of the Opera face mask after his car accident.
He is so tragically disfigured by his accident, even though he's like ripped and looks like he's 21. And
yep. And honestly, there's a scene in chapter 3 where he takes a shower, and it's like, or was it in chapter 4?
Oh yeah,
and he has that off, and he looks fine. It's like,
I think we caught like a tiny glimpse of the one side of his face, and it was like a little scarred, and it was like, I mean, that must suck, but a phantom mask is a bit dramatic.
Yep.
I mean, I guess if half my face got burned in an accident, I would take the opportunity to wear the
well, especially when
mask,
this is your
especially
house.
if I already lived somewhere like this.
Yep. But anyway, I guess it's time to pull up the walkthrough and see what we're doing.
Yes. How about you stream that to me, and I will head back over to today's sponsor, GameBoomers.com.
I can't believe that that's like the name of the site where the one reliable walkthrough for this game that exists apparently happens to live. Like, game FAQs is still a thing. It really feels to me like, I don't know, sometime around like 2005, or I don't know, I guess it'd probably be like when everything was on the PC, PS3, and 360. They just kind of gave up as a website. Like,
yeah, it's kind of a shame. It felt like such an internet institution.
Like, it's still there. You can still find stuff on new release games, but it's like everybody's moved on to just like putting Let's Plays up on YouTube and saying that counts as a walkthrough, right?
Yeah, right.
And no, because I can't search through a video quickly. Anyway, that's,
yeah, it's the worst. It's actually harder to look up video game secrets now than it used to be.
Yeah. So that's streaming to you now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Chapter 5. Also, we went to like the Alice in Wonderland themed shop because there's one of those.
Oh yeah.
You can't have a maybe horror, maybe adventure game without an Alice in Wonderland interlude. It actually didn't seem very thematically related, though. I forgot about the part where we steal a dinosaur egg from the museum and then sit on it.
It was a dodo
That
egg,
happened.
but yes. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, a dodo egg, right? Yes. Because it wasn't a real one. It was a puzzle to see whether magicians were willing to sit on an egg.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of eggs in this game.
There really are, yeah. Anyway.
Yes. Oh, so moving on to the present day. David's room. Enter the bathroom and check the shower.
Oh, yes, his absurdly huge bath. Oh, wait, that's right. That was the end of chapter cutscene was where we saw the...
Oh, right,
Like,
right.
shower
And then he
ghost
thought
thing.
he saw a ghost.
I still, like, can't get over this bathroom, though. Like, look how high up the wall this outlet is for a razor or whatever. Like,
Oh, yeah. That doesn't seem convenient.
and then there's this big, huge, like, cupboard next to the mirror.
Might be the older house's wiring.
And then this
I grew
giant
up in a
bathtub.
relatively old house, and my grandfather helpfully upgraded the power outlets in our walls by giving them all the 3 prongs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't a ground wire, but he
Uh-huh.
put in the 3-prong thing so we could plug in 3-prong stuff.
This
And we
is-
had a lot of computers in there, and it never burned down. So
This is what happened to my iMac, actually. I moved into a house that an electrician had lived in and decided to upgrade his own wiring and did not ground things properly. And yeah, that was the thing.
you would think of all people.
Yep. And I still don't know what this, like, giant clamshell is next to the tub. Like, that's just a mystery to me.
You don't know about the 3 seashells?
There you go.
Was Laura really here this morning?
Also, every ghost is his dead wife. He doesn't really believe in ghosts
I
so much
already
as
had
that
that.
particular ghost.
Yep.
And the interesting twist is that paranormal stuff happens alongside his experiments, and the running theory that the protagonist, Sam, has is that it is his university rival trying to mess with him.
Yeah.
Except he doesn't believe in those paranormal events, only the ones he's personally experiencing.
It's really, it's interesting the way the characters bounce off each other, especially those two.
It's kind of an interesting study in personal realities. Everyone's operating on a different one in this
Yeah.
game.
So anyway, shower looked at.
Oh, enter the closet and check Laura's white dress.
Okay.
You know, your morning routine.
Yeah.
Laura's dress.
Why do you sound
Laura
surprised?
herself have taken it.
Because it's not there.
Ah, okay.
It's only her other dress
Laura's
that's
white
there.
dress is missing.
Okay, gotcha. It's literally all that's in here, so...
Now go down to the private lab.
Also, I have to say, could you imagine living in a house like this?
I could imagine I'd get used to it. I would hate vacuuming.
I mean, vacuuming would be a pain, dusting would be a huge pain, and, like, heating in the winter would just be awful. Because, like, I mean, there is no, like, radiators or
Oh yeah,
anything.
I mean, I did grow up in a big spooky vintage house
Like,
in a semi-rural area.
and this is in England, too, so you know it's an issue. Like, this guy's got to get, like, space heaters out here every winter and just, like...
Oh yeah. Lots of space heaters and blankets and using the built-in fireplace. I imagine his lab dungeon can't be very warm even in the best of times.
Yeah. It's woke up nice and cool for his wine racks here, too. Go to the
The other
ceiling.
weird thing about the experiments is that he seems to be deliberately experimenting with the idea of thought projection
Oh.
and yet doesn't believe in the things that are happening.
Or slowly spelling impotent. Or possibly important.
Dang, if your wife said that beyond the grave, that'd be real rough to deal with.
Yep. So...
Last time in the sensory tank was terrible. She just wanted you to know.
Yep. Okay, so what are we doing here?
Check the whiteboard to update it.
I arranged to see Dr. Ramuskin today. I'm hoping he'll have some insight into the events with Laura.
Okay.
Check the RNG device.
That's what I figured. I still don't even know how it's even supposed to work.
It generates random numbers, and then
Give me a few
it
more
maps the
letters.
random numbers to letters based on an arbitrary pattern that you made up. Haven't you ever hunted ghosts before?
I guess, but like, why does it do one letter at a time, like over the course of several days?
That's true.
And why do you care so much about household chemicals in direct link to Asmerize?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Anyway,
Is
I'm
it
not
going
sure
to turn
what
out
I'm
he
trying to
murdered
say.
his wife?
Indeed, Laura.
I mean, good.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it beyond him.
Like, he's got a good murder dungeon down here, though.
He does. I'd be surprised if he murdered only his wife. So jump to Dr. Ramuskin's house. Oh wait, did you already click on the
Generator is
yeah.
set correctly. I'm hoping Laura will be able to use it to communicate. I'm not sure what Laura's trying to say.
So
I
he
mean-
himself calls this an RNG device. He knows that it's generating random numbers and mapping letters to it.
I do like the other characters in game like call him out as just like, you know, clearly just a bit of a eccentric, let's say.
I like too how they didn't give that to us right away. We had to wait a bit to get other people's appraisal of him, and that made it feel more genuine.
Yeah. Yeah, because I thought for sure when like seeing the whole 10% of the brain thing that the developers just actually believed in that. But then no, it's just this guy's a weirdo
Yeah.
who
that
somehow
seems
believes
like
in
it
that
could've
while
gone
being a
either way.
neurologist. Like, I like
I
how
should
it
have
has.
asked, is my level good? I was fussing with the microphone.
Oh yeah, you
before
sound fine.
stream.
Um,
Okay. Ooh, he has a spooky purple box too.
I also like it has his
Dr.
jacket that
Stiles,
he's supposed to go outside.
It's very good to meet you.
Sorry to disturb you.
It's an honor.
Wow, he's even got a
I
spooky
remember
coat.
when your Scientific American article came out. My colleagues and I were thrilled to see such open-mindedness in a leading neurobiologist.
As you can see, things have deteriorated since then.
Please, come inside. On the phone, it sounded important.
I think that's how a polite person insults your work.
Also, he's a neurobiologist, not a neurologist.
One thing
Oh,
you learn
yeah.
as a neurobiologist is that reality is subjective, like the story of the blind man and the elephant. One of my patients had a brain tumor and became convinced his wife was an alien in disguise. Everyone else saw an everyday housewife. He saw something horrible. What clues do we pick up from our environment every day that tell us how to perceive the world? One man sees a pile of logs, another a sleeping giant.
Perception is a slippery thing.
My wife, Laura, died in 2002, but the
So-
reality I chose was to keep her alive. In my mind and in my heart. I started experiments in an isolation tank to bring back as many memories of her as possible, even the small and subtle ones. And I didn't give a toss what anyone thought.
And now?
The thing I didn't foresee was that Laura might actually come back.
I've suddenly got quite a chill. Perhaps you'll start from the beginning while I light the fire.
No fire, please.
Oh, please forgive me. I'll call for some tea. I'm quite anxious to hear
Well, that
what
takes
you
that
have to
out of
say,
like
Dr.
housekeeping.
Stiles. If you'd start at the beginning, please. It
Possibilities.
sounds fascinating. I've never performed any experiments with an isolation tank myself, but they may well concentrate certain energies. I'd be happy to help in any way I can. And I'd be very interested in your theories on the phenomenon as a neurobiologist, if you'd be so kind.
So I have to say too, like this keeps happening where we were like talking about this game and analyzing it, and then the characters in the game like have the same conversation. Like, what were we just saying before that?
That's pretty interesting that they've managed to do that. It's been enough of pattern, that it's not just a single coincidence. So yeah, just talk to him about everything.
Yep. Yeah, it's like as soon
In
as you
cases
start
that
wondering,
you're
like, what's
familiar
up with
with
that?
of
Like, it's addressed by the game, and I really
Is it typical
appreciate
for the
that.
deceased to obsess over their deaths?
I'd say so, particularly if it was violent.
Laura keeps communicating about the accident, but I'm not sure if there's really something there or if she's just fixated on that moment out of shock.
I know you'll leave no stone unturned.
Also, I really
finding
like
out.
the detail of this
If there's
guy's
nothing to
terrible
it, it
tangle
will
of
be
wires
clear
under his
soon
desk.
enough.
Yes, of course.
Got like power strips plugged into power strips down here. It's
Yes.
Have you heard of any similar hauntings, for lack of a better word?
Some of the elements, such as the way Laura communicated with you in the tank and the RNG message. These sound like classic communiques from the spirit world. But other things you've described, the moved nightgown, the form under the sheets, and most particularly the events at the university, those sound like PK activity, telekinesis, objects being moved with the power of the mind. Are you positive all these manifestations are Laura?
Of course. One paranormal source is remarkable enough, much less two different ones. Don't you agree?
You have a point.
I believe in exactly one ghost.
I mean, feeling physical presences, especially when lying in bed, especially if you're like used to someone being there for a long time and then they're not.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not that. It's like your brain just hasn't overwritten the default value for what it's put in that like chunk of reality. It's not even that uncommon.
Studies done with dying and comatose patients have provided some interesting clues about consciousness. There are authenticated cases of the mind projecting itself from the body, witnessing things that occurred far away. If the mind can project itself from the body, then it's possible for consciousness to survive physical death.
Do
Big
you
leap
have a
there, pal.
scientific explanation for how that might work?
Quantum theory suggests that three-dimensional space and time are essentially created by the brain in order to organize the masses of data that make up reality. The brain operates like a translation device, in the same way that a television set organizes bits of electronic data into an image. If the human brain creates space and time, then theoretically the brain could project the mind into the past or future, making itself essentially immortal.
That's astonishing. I hope you intend to publish on this theory.
I'm still conducting my research.
That's the way of putting it.
Is there any connection between psi activity and heat or fire?
Yes. Telekinesis in particular is very elemental. There's a classic poltergeist case that involved a young girl in the American heartland. The manifestations in her household all revolved around water. Water running down the walls of the house, seeping out of the wallpaper, and welling up from the floors. Another classic telekinesis phenomenon is raining stones. And I recall reading about a shaman in East Africa who could make his victims burst into flames. It would all suggest that telekinetic powers are drawn from the earth. But I'm not aware of any studies done on the subject.
Can you tell me more about the East African shaman?
I'll tell you what I remember. It's a well-documented case from the early 1900s, researched by a member of the Society for Psychical Research. He was traveling in Africa when he ran across this shaman. He put the man through a variety of tests and reached the conclusion that the shaman was projecting electricity at strong enough levels to literally start fires, predictably and reliably. This notion seemed confirmed by the odd fact that when the shaman was wet, his fire-starting ability didn't work. Of course, in those days, experiments in electricity were all the rage, so you have to take that into consideration. Still, he made a compelling case.
I'm wondering if the events on campus aren't some kind of psychic residue from Laura's attempts to come through. If
I like
she's
this guy's voice,
generating
too.
energy,
Like-
it might get channeled in unpredictable ways.
I can't
It's
say
a generally
it was,
well
but
cast
the
game.
energy involved in the campus events is so unusually powerful. It's unlike any spiritual communication I've ever heard of.
But you said yourself you've never dealt with a case that involved an isolation tank.
True.
You're right, that does
True.
explain it.
I'm quite curious to see where this is all heading, Dr. Styles.
Somebody in chat?
No, I was
Or
just
just that.
replying to Dr. Styles. Like, yeah,
Thank
It's
you
true.
for
Nobody
the
who's seen a ghost
expertise.
has ever used an isolation tank
There's
before,
one
so
more thing.
clearly that
I
like
was
multiplies
hoping
the
to
power
give
of
you
it
some
a million
advice on how I
times.
might
Yeah,
help
well.
Laura. Help her come through.
Dr. Styles, I'm not sure what you mean by coming through. Earthbound spirits are trapped here because of some unresolved trauma or an inability to accept their own deaths. The goal in such a scenario is to free the spirit so that he or she can move on.
Move on? To what? Oblivion? I mean, what if Laura could be brought back?
But
I appreciate
what
this.
body would she inhabit? How could she interact with our world? All religions believe that there is some kind of afterlife.
Okay, that's not
and
true. First of all.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that isn't true.
I'm afraid it's getting quite late. I must go.
I do hope you'll keep in touch. I'd like to know how this develops.
Of course. Good day.
Goodbye.
This game can't, I feel, decide whether it wants to be like based on folklore or like gaps in scientific understanding, because it uses like science to sort of lend credence to a bunch of the stuff, but then it just kind of goes into like the elements.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you
I like
only
that-
use 10%
yeah.
of your brain. You
I like that conversation because that was like two pseudoscientists whose stories don't match up having a conversation.
if you like focused entirely on the fact of, you know, living in a quantum mechanical world that our brains reconstruct reality and just to make sense of it, like if you centered solely on that idea, you could do something kind of interesting with that, I think, while still having it be like kind of sci-fi, like not just magic. But the game seems willing to make it just magic when convenient.
Or maybe it doesn't. Like, I still couldn't tell you. So where are we going now?
Yeah, maybe we'll find out that even conversations like that are totally intended. Learn about elemental manifestations. A whole sentence in this walkthrough. The shaman can burn people.
Yeah.
That's just a sentence. Day in a rowboat dining room. Oh, go to the dining room. Look at the watercolors done by Laura on the wall.
But that's the thing. That, like, there have been other points in the game where like somebody has had to make speech like that, and then somebody else called it out as, okay, that's just through the scientific BS. So it's like
It's surprisingly rare in video game writing for
no, like dining
more than a single point of view
yeah.
with probably authorial intent being presented, which is not a great statement on the state of games
Yeah.
writing.
Well, I mean, I was saying before I was waiting for you, like, I can't think of any other game where I've ever been, like, wondering where the plot's going.
Yeah.
I mean, exceptions for things like Kingdom Hearts, but that's not so much wondering as, like, why are you writing like this?
Timmins Park. Laura loved the place. Might be a good spot to try to recreate a memory today. Surely it won't be crowded on a dreary weekday. Laura's paintings of Timmins Park. Laura's paintings of Timmins Park.
Okay, so just paint the one part.
So go
okay.
to the kitchen and talk to Stella about Laura's favorite places.
Laura's paintings of Timmins Park.
Pretty skilled amateur painter.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, again, I've been, like, consistently impressed by the art in this game in general.
Good morning. How was your breakfast?
Fine. Is Samantha in?
She's at university. Would you like me to call her?
Actually, I prefer not to be disturbed. If she comes in, tell her that, will you?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk to. Is her first name Stella?
I guess.
I guess.
You
Oh
were
yeah.
Laura and me since our marriage. What would you say were some of Laura's favorite places?
She loved that chair up in your bedroom. She'd have to have tea curled up there with a book. Oh, and the back garden.
I mean further out, not the house.
Your cottage at the lake. Oh, and that park. Timmins. The one that she did all the watercolours off. Oh, Lord, she loved that place.
Timmins, of course. Thank you.
Okay.
So really, you just needed to learn that fact twice and now go there.
This is why we're using a walkthrough. Like,
So yeah, if you're just tuning in now, this is a problem that we've needed to walk through this game because, unfortunately, for all the positive qualities in the way it's structured, it's very much one of those adventure games where you need to interact with everything twice, or you will not progress the plot, even for seemingly inconsequential things.
Look, Mummy.
And you may
it's a
soft
monster.
lock it if you're not lucky.
Sweetheart.
again, holy crap! Like the background in this game. Like that's just a really well framed shot right there.
Yeah.
So,
Check the entry plaque.
There's nothing on the park schedule for today. Good, that means fewer people.
okay.
Would a really little kid really say, "Look, a monster," if he saw a guy wearing a mask? Wouldn't he say, like, "Look, a mask"?
Mm.
Check the trees right and left of the bench. I think they mean right and left of the bridge.
Yep.
Just a carving in the
Ooh.
tree. Doesn't remind me of anything.
Probably not a puzzle. Oh, it's panning. Maybe there are more trees.
This is the tree. I carved our initials here on a summer day.
Okay.
Wasn't he already like 30 by then? Can you still carve your name into a tree?
I mean, no one's gonna
By then.
stop you. It is rude to the trees, though. Like, they need their bark to live.
Mm-hmm. Carve it into some concrete or something. I don't know. We got one of those fences here that everyone wants on. Oh, we're leveling up our brain some more.
Yep. Yeah, kind of what you said, 'cause that was such a loud sound effect. Popsicle sex.
Yeah. Wow. That wasn't just hanging out. That was like,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So you were saying?
Just that we got one of those fences here that's got all the locks that people like inscribe a little thing and then put a lock on the fence, and then the fence gets covered in locks and the fence starts falling over.
Ah. Haven't seen that one, but yeah.
I think they're in the States, they're like bigger ones.
Mhm.
The problem is once the fence falls over, they basically just throw all the locks out because it's just a fallen over fence at that point.
Yep.
So see if you can check the left of the bench.
Mhm.
Or just look around in general.
Yep. Oh, there's no tree over
I
there.
don't think that sitting on this bench could trigger any particular memory. I should try something else. This carving means nothing to me. It won't help me with Laura.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe that was necessary for bonus points.
Who knows? Anything else we're checking out here in particular?
Aside from everything, no.
I remember the park, but it's quite vague. Where should I go? This way leads to the lake. I remember the park,
It
but the
suggests
main
going
track-
to the right to the fountain area. Wow, everyone in this park is so rude they can't not stare.
Mm.
You're just with this guy now.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of amazed that there was like walking perfectly in step there. It was.
Salut.
Laura loved that fountain.
Awu, salut.
We sat on that bench for hours. Laura was the only person who could ever convince me to relax.
Hello, Trevor just wandered in apparently.
Laura loved that fountain.
So are all the places
Sat
he
on that
remembers
bench
all
for
the
hours.
places that they totally
Laura
did
was
it
the
in
only
public?
person who could ever convince
I'm
me.
assuming so.
It's the pattern so far.
It really is. Anything in particular, or just kind of wandering around?
It just says look around.
Okay, I'll jog a bit. A gardenia garden. Sounds like a mistranslation somehow. And maybe a separate location?
This
I guess
game's done a pretty good job for being a bunch of pre-rendered backgrounds and still having like a sense of openness to it.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's the bridge. Like, even with these labels up, I'm a little thrown sometimes by what's like an exit and what's the point of interest.
It says after looking around the fountain area to go to the Gardenia Garden.
Yeah, it doesn't really scroll that way. Double
Laura
check.
loved that fountain. We sat on that bench for hours. Laura was the only person who could ever convince me to relax.
I love this guy who just like starts almost every sentence with Laura loved. A chair. Laura loved chairs.
Imagining this guy with the phantom mask walking around the park in his popped collar coat,
That's a gardenia bush.
bathing suit in one hand, taking a big whiff of it every time he looks at something.
There
Yep.
are no blossoms on that bush, unfortunately.
I like how you also put hours in double quotes.
There's a gardenia in bloom. Laura would place one in her hair if we came here.
No one's
Oh,
stopping
it's
you.
a garden of gardenias.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
That's a gardenia bush. Laura would place one in her hair if we came here.
So try to take a gardenia from one of the bushes.
Oh, okay.
That
Stick it in your
flower
hair.
might jog some memories.
Don't you pick that flower, sir.
What? How would that change your day?
Rules is rules, sir. Flowers are here for everyone's enjoyment, not picking.
Listen, I need that flower. I'll pay for it if necessary.
You'll pay, all right. The fine's £2,000.
Fine.
Hello?
You could afford it.
Clearly.
Hey, don't take that.
Damn it. She's run off with the gardenia I need.
I mean, just take another one.
So you are in fact supposed to go chase down the child now to get that particular flower.
Well, I mean,
A rose garden. That must be recent. I don't remember that.
there's.
Chase the child through the park in your phantom mask.
I mean, like, if I took it, I'd get fined. Children are above the law, so
Just walk into this playground now.
So activity modules.
it's so literally translated, I think.
What game are you playing?
Or maybe that really is just what they call them in Germany.
Cat got your tongue? That's a lovely flower. Did you get it here in the park? I see it. What's your name?
We
Nice
know
name.
his motivations, and this is still creepy.
Is it Elizabeth? Anne? My mask is scary looking, isn't it?
What's it for?
It's something like a bandage.
Okay, I'll give you the flower if you let me see your screwed up face.
Yep, that's how it goes.
You've got an owie.
That's right. A big owie.
How did you get it?
That's rather a long story, I'm afraid.
Definitely a real child and not pitch shifted.
Which is the least creepy?
What's your name?
What's your name?
Where did you get that mask?
I had someone make it.
He's wearing this because half his face was burned in the accident where his wife died in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like ice cream? Maybe I could trade you an ice cream for your flower.
My mum wouldn't like it. I scraped my knee once and got an eye. How do you
I like this kid now. Like, just zeroing in on this.
What about if I give you a new shiny pound for your flower?
Do you know any tricks? How do you wash your face?
I can take the mask off when I need to.
Will you take it off now?
No, sweetheart. I can't do that.
It's doing that chipmunk effect.
Will you show me your flower?
No,
How did
no,
you get
no.
that?
That's never say it to anyone.
It was a fire.
Did it hurt?
Yes.
This guy's failing all his charisma checks.
Yep. I kind of thought I just thought this kid just like won't let this go.
Laura, I can't do it. I can't get that flower. Ow!
Okay. Pick up the apples.
Mm-hmm.
Use apples on little girl.
Right. So this is gonna be juggling. I'm assuming. I'm not gonna start like
Yes,
telling
you're
her.
correct. You don't actually, but I like the idea that there could maybe just throw it at her, knock out the kid, and take the flower.
What?
I also like that we're not going the obvious route of like, I know a stage magician. Well, I asked her to teach me a trick.
Higher.
Shall I? All right. Watch this.
Rebecca!
I was just showing her a trick.
Oh dear.
Well, that was pleasant.
Mummy! 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 Oh, let me go back and see the man. I like him.
It's just really awkward. Everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before some other kid grabs it. Yoink.
So now, smell it and think of your dead wife.
Oh, hang on. There's a special nose icon just for this. I'm not sure that's coming across on the stream.
Oh. Doesn't he have any unhorny memories of her?
Apparently not. It really like starts getting kind of sinister after a while.
I always thought we'd bring our own children here someday. Things change.
So you're saying Laura did not love little springy, bouncy horses?
Apparently not.
I always thought
Talk
we'd
to the
bring our
ice
own
cream
children
vendor.
someday. Things change.
Oh yeah, gotta get that sex popsicle.
Ice cream.
Oh yes, of course. Good thinking. That is probably exactly what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Also, what the hell kind of creepy, like, angel statues are these staring over the playground?
I want
Oh,
one
yeah.
of those orange-flavored lollies you used to sell. There was vanilla inside.
What, you mean like an orange mibby?
That's it.
Oh, is that what they call them there? I always called those creamsicles.
Same.
There you go. Don't you like want your change?
Keep it.
Now lick the popsicle.
Again, we got a little tongue icon here. I'm not sure if it's coming across. I love how I had to have that little like neuron firing every time too.
I mean, it wasn't him that was eating the popsicle, or maybe it was meaning to imply that's what like her kisses tasted like. Okay, exit through the bottom path to get to the bench and bridge. Can leave behind these children's activity modules.
Like, it's just a heck of a thing to call them.
Perhaps this is from his perspective, and that's what he would call them.
Okay, so that was a good lap around the park.
Cross the bridge to be at the boathouse. That's a weird way to put it.
Yeah. I do appreciate the walkers being out there, though. Thank you, whoever wrote this.
Yes, thank you to everyone who wrote a walkthrough for this, because we've had to jump between several of them.
Okay.
Look around.
First of all,
I recognize him.
hell yeah, finally some other music in this game.
Oh yeah, you're right.
£3 an hour. Lucrative business.
I don't know, it seems
It's
pretty reasonable
honestly
to me.
pretty cheap.
Like, I don't know the exchange rate, but anything under
Laura
$10
loved to
seems
take a boat
reasonable
out on the
enough.
lake, but I'm not ready for that yet.
Pounds used to be 3 to 1 for Canadian dollars, I think, so that's still a fair
The
amount
water is calm
to me, but I think it was particularly bad then.
But, like, how much did you pay for the ice cream?
They rent boats here.
Or maybe that was just, you could assume ordering something from the UK after shipping was all said and done, it'd be 3 to 1. I forget.
So, I think I looked at everything.
Check and talk to the accordion player.
That's what they get you with those. Do it again.
I have a request. There's an old Italian song you used to play. Santa Lucia.
Grazie, grazie. I know you. You used to come here with your wife.
So, most of the voice acting in this is very good.
Yes.
Yes.
She's not with you today.
Not yet. Will you play it?
Yeah.
Would be my pleasure.
And I've just got a hourglass road pointer right now, by the way, so...
Oh, so this is sitting here and waiting for it.
This is us listening to this whole song. Which I'm fine with. I like the accordion. It's an underrated instrument.
This is a bit jaunty for a morbidly nostalgic memory. I guess you don't choose which ones work that way. Now he's done accordion. Okay, talk to the rental boat clerk.
Of course. Rent boat. Rent boat.
I'd like to rent a punt, please.
A
£3,
punt.
you can take number 12.
Here we go again. Oh. Okay.
We're being utter slugs today. The sun feels amazing.
Some of us are more slug-like than others.
You're such a curmudgeon.
I was referring to myself, of course.
What's your schedule this week, darling?
The usual. Nothing earth-shattering.
Good. I was thinking we might go to the cottage this weekend.
We...
I still, like... Were they married for like a
Utter
week?
slugs today. The sun feels amazing.
Yeah, it
Some
keeps
of us
implying that,
are more
doesn't it?
slug-like than others. I'd love to go to the cottage. cottage this weekend. I might be able to arrange it so we can leave Thursday night.
21st October.
I'd love to go to the cottage this weekend. I might be able to arrange it so we can leave Thursday night.
Mason needs
Sun
braces.
feels amazing. A student, David. 21st October.
You know, this is getting me out, 'cause I was, like, really expecting the wife ghost to be kind of fake.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it might be. It's hard to say. And now we go back to the delightfully named Dread House.
Yep. And shortcut. Oops. No, it's... This tiny little thing is the map button. Weather here always
And
sucks.
to your private lab.
But it is England, so I mean... And I really impressed with the detail of him, like, taking his jacket on and off when he's just even going out into the yard.
Mm.
Well,
Even
games
Dio
are...
Hazuki didn't do that.
What was that?
Even Dio Hazuki didn't do
Yeah,
that.
he-
Didn't take his jacket off indoors.
Well, he takes off to go to sleep, I think.
Oh, does he? Yeah, that would make sense. Now you mention
You get, like,
it.
the one animation of, like, laying down on your bed in just the t-shirt and pants.
Oh, yes,
then-
good point. But he sleeps in his jeans.
Oh, yeah. And he does not do his laundry.
He doesn't,
Like-
does he? And don't, like, months pass in game time?
Yeah.
But he does have a closet full of identical outfits,
Sure.
so
Sure.
to be fair.
He might change when the camera's not on him.
Go to private lab and check the 2002 appointment book.
Mm-hmm.
And see that there was a dinner appointment with the on-the-nose named
I suffered some
Hellborns at the night of October 21st.
The appointment book isn't helping. But if something unusual happened, perhaps I mentioned it at dinner.
If I did, Simon Hellborn might remember.
I suffered some memory loss around the time of the accident. But if
If I did,
I do appreciate the detail of, like, having some memory loss, because he does kind of, like, act that way. Okay, so...
Now you go to the kitchen and look at the notice board.
Okay.
That's where you keep all your phone numbers.
It is, to be fair, yeah, so that's not that illogical.
Hello. Everything all right?
Fine, thanks.
Could you imagine being this lady? Like, just putting up with this all day long?
Simon's business card with his phone number.
Okay.
Use the phone at the foyer. Foyer. I always heard foyer.
Mm-hmm. I think that's correct. But, yeah, that could be either one, I guess.
Hello, David Stiles speaking. Fine, thanks, Veronica. Is Simon available this afternoon? It's urgent.
Okay, thanks. Goodbye.
It's a quick call. I guess
Now you
there's-
can go to Simon's
Yeah,
office.
we sure can. Just popped right up. Again, every room in this game is so
David.
absurdly large.
I couldn't believe it when my secretary said you were here. How
And
are you?
decorated.
Simon, I need your help.
I've offered it 1,000,000 times. Anything.
We had dinner the night before the accident. Amanda, Laura, you and I. Do you remember?
Of course I remember. That was the last time we saw Laura.
Well, I don't. I can't remember anything from that day.
It's not unusual for trauma to cause memory loss.
Yes, I know. Do you remember what I talked about at dinner? Did I mention any of my students?
Not that I recall. Why? What's this about, David?
Damn. What about Amanda? She might remember something.
If it's really important, I could try hypnosis. I've had pretty good success.
Ah,
helping
that's
patients
quackery.
recover memory.
I didn't think about that. Can we do it now?
Okay, good.
If you like. Lie down on the couch.
You know,
All right, David. I'm going to have you relax.
it's weird that like this style of couch
And
survived
completely
only for like
relax.
hypnosis.
Let's go. You're waking up now. Slowly waking up. And it's the
Hypnosis is
morning of
arguably the
October
most
21st.
sciencey thing that we've been
Get out of
doing.
bed.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing you do?
Okay.
So the walkthrough gives a specific answer,
Uh-huh.
which is took a shower,
Okay,
but
but-
like I'm kind of curious what happens if you're wrong.
I don't want to do a safety save.
I took a shower.
What did you think about in the shower?
I was in a foul mood. I don't know why.
You showered and got dressed. What did you do after that? Did you have breakfast?
Had breakfast with Headley. Oh, like television.
Where was this? At
How are we
Redhill
supposed to
House?
know this?
A coffee shop? The university?
I don't know.
A coffee shop. Is this just a safe scumming test?
We met at a coffee shop in Oxford.
David, don't let it upset you, sir. The only people who read that journal are the most conservative scientists. People like Linkweller himself.
I'm gonna
And
have
they
to come
all
back
cycle.
after saving it and play back up to this point and check now. 'Cause I'm morbidly curious.
I remember. Linkweller's rebuttal had just come out the day before. That's why I was upset and why I had breakfast with Headley.
Right. You mentioned that at dinner. Now we're both remembering. Very good, David. Now you're leaving the coffee shop. What did you do next? Did you have classes that day?
As the infant matures, we see that connections that will last a lifetime are vital message passageways that carry...
Poorly attended class.
Yes. It was a lecture.
On what subject?
Neural connectivity in infants.
Neural connectivity in infants. Yes, I'm sure that was it.
Did anything happen during the lecture? Anything to do with the student?
A single brain network can involve billions of neurons. Multiply that by... Yes?
Ah, so you're suggesting I could levitate or see through women's clothing? If only I'd needed to do it when I was 3 months old. Wow. How about teleporting to Mars?
See, I can't. I love get called out on this constantly by
I don't
everybody
know
else.
about those particular skills, Andrews, but one skill you apparently needed at 3 months in was the ability to pointlessly interrupt. As I was saying, despite the extraordinary number of neural connections that we do form, there are still... There was something... One of Linkweller's cronies. I was annoyed, humiliated by the time I left class.
It's all right. Try to remember the emotion.
Such a creepy
without
image in the
revealing
background there.
What did you do after class?
Office hours.
I had office hours. There's something... I'm feeling very anxious.
Take a deep breath. This is just a memory. It's not real. Try to watch it impersonally.
There's someone at the door.
You don't have to continue.
No, I do. I said... Enter. Yes? What can I do for you?
Who is it?
I only see a figure. A wild figure.
Is it a student?
I think so.
With banging hips.
Yep, so female is the answer to this one.
Female. It was a female.
All right. Very good.
He
Relax.
describes that in the creepy
There
way
was a
most men
female
do.
student standing in your office, and she said,
I'm Dr. Stiles. What do you want?
Waiting for her to say.
I read your article. I have this thing, this power.
Oh, and what power might that be? Outbound flight to Mars?
I thought you could help me. You were the only one who would understand.
Yes, well, apparently not. It's been very amusing. You may leave at any time.
Man, he really just like blew her off immediately.
Mm-hmm.
David, are you all right?
Oh my God. I thought it was a prank. Laura. She remembered.
Laura, what are you talking about? What has this student got to do with anything?
I can't explain. Thanks for the help.
But David...
It's interesting there was an exit hotspot even though you weren't allowed to interact. So now you go back to your computer in your private lab.
Mm-hmm.
Open my files and read Sam's experiment report 1. Oh, so this is kind of recapping what we already know.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I wouldn't have had you recap the whole game when you were gonna get this.
Yeah. It was a fun exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, interesting
Evil
how close the
brain.
times are. So after that, go to the main lab. I guess it makes sense the times to be similar because they coincided with the experiments, and the experiments were at the same time of night. So, actually, now I think about it, that's not weird.
Still Impo over there. I was like, I can't tell what you're trying to say when it's like there's only like 3 words that start with Impo.
Impotent, important, impossible?
Well, I guess impossible, yeah, or import.
Import. Oh, yes.
Okay, so what are we doing here?
Go to the main lab, go to the far end of the hall to be in the main lab, check the computer.
Yeah, some of these labels down in the basement are a little bit fishy.
Oh yeah, the main lab is in the main lab.
You get nothing at all suspicious about this whole setup in here with the like massive drain in the floor.
It's in case there's a brain spill. And the straps on all those beds to hold patients down, so they don't fall out of bed.
Okay.
Session 1.
It would take hours to look through all the data. I need to zero in on a specific time.
So this was at 11:30. Oh gosh, thank you, Mr. Insecure. Once again. Wow.
Thanks a lot. Anything else suspiciously doing at 11:30 here?
Oh, then it says to click on 45 seconds.
Okay.
What is that?
That's red, dude. Am I looking at these in particular?
I've never seen anything like that.
Thanks so much. Have a good night to you too.
If it could have been a power surge. Promise.
Really appreciate the generosity.
It doesn't leave me much data to work with. I'll switch to my older MRI equipment tonight. It should be less sensitive to power spikes. I've never seen anything like that. I wonder if...
So, okay, I think that's that. On to session 2.
All the scans show red. Click on a volunteer scan. Switch to MRI main view. Then go to session 2.
Yep. That's what I thought. is going to be 11:40.
Yeah, for some reason it says 11:42.
Okay.
And click on 30 seconds.
What? What is that?
Alright, so same thing you just saw.
Click on a volunteer scan, switch to MRI main view.
I wonder if it could have been a power surge. Promising, but it doesn't leave me much data to work with. I'll switch to my older MRI equipment tonight. It should be less sensitive to power spikes.
Okay, we'll do the same thing.
David realizes that it happened both nights and so not glitch in program.
Mm-hmm.
Has he done that yet? Oh, there it is.
It happened the same way both nights. That rules out a glitch in the program.
So now go to the kitchen and talk to Stella.
Of course. As you do.
Be like, Stella, the MRI was all red. And she'll be like, that's nice, dear.
David, can I get you something?
No, I'm fine.
Have you eaten it all today?
Have you seen Samantha? I need to speak with her.
No. She's probably at Oxford.
Why is she never around when a person bloody well needs her? What are you looking at? I'm paying her salary, aren't I?
I never said a word. I did notice that you've gone out quite a lot today. You mustn't overdo it. See how it upsets you? And with Sam in the house and other things. You mustn't push too hard.
She's the real killer.
Maybe.
I say, despite there not being... Well, I guess there is, like,
Is that
his
the new
wife's killer.
electroshockometer? Nice.
Anybody know the
I guess we're at tonight's experiment now.
It's all for one and one for all.
After... Oh, yes, Sam also tricked everyone into staying in the experiments after everyone had serious misgivings about it.
And then, like, planted a bomb in somebody's gym.
Never mind.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Close your eyes.
Oh, right, because she's doing this.
Mm-hmm. Ow.
Ooh. Yeah, getting hit with one of those weights would be pretty bad.
Maybe, like, get some medical attention for that, like, immediately. Especially right there, like, holy cow, that's...
She's putting them all back?
Well, I gotta screw with whoever's doing this.